So the calm after the storm. We did a video this morning, which isn't actually doing too bad on YouTube. A couple of thousand views on that, about the video about the Dana which we're going to experience today. We got warnings yesterday evening about staying indoors. The alerts on our phones, and also a lot in the press. Last night about 10 o'clock they told us the kids couldn't go to school. They advised us that a lot of the offices would be closing down, and things like the ITV vehicle inspection centres as well would not be opening. And this is all because these places aren't going to be washed away, but this is all to keep people off the road. It's to stop the movement of people. All of these precautions is just to stop people being out and about, because it's ultimately when people are out and about is when people get hurt from these kind of meteorological disasters. So and do you know what, they got it absolutely spot on. Initially we thought that the rain was going to start at night time or early morning, then it got pushed back a little bit, and then by the time the morning came, maybe at 10 o'clock, that's when it's going to hit. And you know, hats off to the local governments and the precautions that they took by warning everybody to stay in, because it wouldn't have been a good time to be out and about after 10 o'clock. Before I did the video, you would have seen in the video, it was actually it was a bit damp outside, but it was relatively normal. And at 10 o'clock, there's a huge clap of thunder, and then it just poured down. I mean, you can see here in this video how much it just went down. It was just pouring down. Not much wind at all, to be honest. It was literally just pouring down with rain. And then later on, which is the part of what they call the Dana, the gota fria, so the cold drop they call it. It's quite incredible, because about 2.5 hours into the storm, it kind of comes and goes. It isn't just constant. Sometimes you're always breaking a little bit, then it's bang, it's down again. And it was quite a lot of electrical storm as well, so a lot of thunder and lightning going on. But during the whole thing, suddenly in the strongest part of the storm, like in the eye of the storm, all the windows in the house just steamed up, so they all misted up because the temperature outside just dropped dramatically. So then we had obviously the misted windows inside, and then half an hour later it just disappeared. So that was the actual gota fria, the cold drop. It was temperature outside dropped, and that's when the heaviest rain comes, because obviously the water condenses, drops, and that's when you get most of the flooding, which is the problem. Believe it or not, when you see these photos of the flooding, it's sort of instantaneous, and then you probably go to the same place an hour, 2 hours later, and the water would have gone, and just the destruction is left behind it. So I just thought I'd share a few of the things which I got through to us on WhatsApp as I was here today working away from home. Obviously the WhatsApp messages were going. And first of all, let's give you the bucket update. So this was the bucket that my experiment that we did to see how much water was actually falling in the area where we were, which was Alarin de la Torre, and we were in theory right in the middle of it all. And that's a 65 litre bucket, so I reckon that photo was taken at 3 o'clock when the rain sort of subsided. I reckon about 20 litres there. They reckoned up to around, in a metre squared, they reckon 85 to 180 litres or something in a metre squared. Don't really understand the calculations of that. But if you just look at that bucket and think that if there was no drainage, that's how much standing water that would have been. That's pretty incredible to see. That would have been 4 inches of standing water. So that's how much fell. That's how much, literally, that's raindrops in that bucket. It would have been 4 inches of standing water if there was no drainage at all. So evidently all the water has drained off. That's got to go somewhere. So we're actually quite high up where I live, so that's gone into the town, which brings me on to some of the photos that we've got here. So these are some of the WhatsApp photos that we got. This was just down the road from us, the entrance to a place where people live in mobile homes, and that was completely flooded. Over in Alarin El Grande, Jane, who you don't own the channel, you know works with us in Upsticks, but you've never gone on social media. In front of a house though, that wall just completely collapsed. Now I think the storm was the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back on that one, because you can see that the wall wasn't particularly well built. But again, hats off to the authorities. They were straight out with bobcats and cleaning it up and getting it out of the way. Here's another video that you can see from a place called Churriana, and Churriana is right next to the airport, and this was taken by a friend of ours from a balcony, and you can see that the road has just turned into a river and it's all just heading down there. And there was also these videos which have been circulating from WhatsApp of the hospital in Malaga. That's the university hospital, which is a real shame. That's where I had my arm fixed. Yeah, and you can see that, you know, these guys are still got to go to work. They don't have the luxury like we do to say, okay, we work from home, keep the kids at home, that's fine. But no, so that's we feel for them, because obviously there's a lot of good equipment that they need as well. What's this one? This one's from the airport. So again, this one's been circulating around WhatsApp, and I've just seen it on social media as well. So that was the airport. I don't think that's one of the main doors of the airport though. I know the airport pretty well. That's probably around the back somewhere. And I haven't seen anything else about the airport being flooded. So we'll keep checking that out. But all this sort of content comes out afterwards, and then the mainstream media starts picking up on stuff which is circulated around WhatsApp groups, which is circulating on Facebooks and people's personal profiles, and they'll approach people, use their photos and use it in mainstream media. So I've got most of my info from the town hall Facebook pages. So if you are looking for decent info, go to the town hall pages like Alarin de la Torre. They had a lot on there, what they're doing. That brings me to these images here. Now this is a post that they did in our local area, with the roads which have basically subsided. So what happens is a lot of these roads aren't built that well, and the water runs below them, and then they just collapse into the gaps or start to get very bumpy and wobbly. So there's about 4 roads where we live that are currently closed. 2 weeks ago, the road right outside, which is a main road to the airport, was closed for 5 hours because a pine tree fell right across it, and it's still sat there now, cut in half actually. Yeah, that's it. And here's just a time lapse of the I took this about an hour, just showing you what the storm was like. It's not the best representation of the storm, but hey, you can see what it's like. Time lapse in an hour into 22 seconds. So anyway, the first thing is, hats off to the authorities. They got it spot on, warning everybody to stay at home. And albeit that we've seen you what the storm was like, it's not the best. There's been quite a bit of material damage out there. I mean, I saw a cyclone video as well on Facebook in Marbella. Again, these are actually not that uncommon. Now, I remember when I lived in Tarragona that we used to get quite a few up there. But I saw that there, but from what we've seen so far on the social media, that it's been material damage which the town halls were prepared for, and they will be clearing up. But we haven't seen any injuries yet, so unless anybody can tell me different, put links below please, so people are watching this video. It looks like the warnings were well put in place, that most people listened to them, stayed at home, and the water did its damage, and we're expecting more this evening. So just going on to that, if you check out the weather forecast, it's just started to rain again now. It's about 11 o'clock in the evening. In about an hour's time it's supposed to really kick off again, and that's supposed to go all the way through the evening. Around 2 hours ago we got the notification that the schools will be closing again tomorrow, so the children will be staying at home again tomorrow. Again, a sensible move. Just don't want the circulation and traffic in the morning rushing around, taking people to school with slippy wet roads, and quite possibly obstructions in the roads as well. Also with the roads which are closed, that is going to be a problem. So I think that's a good shout, to be honest. And which then is going to bring us to Thursday afternoon. They reckon, so Thursday afternoon they reckon it's going to stop. But will they really now if we're going to have problems later on this evening. Will they make the children go to school and open the offices that have closed down again on Friday? I doubt it. I reckon that's it for the week for them. So lucky, they love it. They love it. But anyway, so that's our storm update. Don't forget, we will be on Saturday on YouTooSpain, and we're going to be talking about permanent residency, and we're also going to talk more about the gota fria, what is the actual storm itself and what happens. Obviously, unfortunately, it's become quite famous around the world now because of what happened in Valencia and the drastic loss of life there, which was terrible. But it's not a new thing. It's something that happens quite often, nearly every year here in Spain. And we're also going to be talking about, as I said, permanent residency in Spain. Me and myself and Scats are going to be having our usual argument, and where we always dearly agree but sometimes disagree. And then don't forget, on Sunday from 6 till 9 we'll be starting with our regular weekly update videos as well, and this week is weekly update number 40, so we've got plenty coming up for you there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the weekend. If we might do another storm update tomorrow, I think, depending on what happens this evening.